Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of how to render and create TEW characters for TEW 2016 with me, ScottBGaming. We've done a couple of videos in this series now. We've done a few female characters. The first one was more of a basic introduction. I did cover quite a lot in the last episode that you would have seen, which kind of goes into a little bit of the finer detail and some general tips about when starting up and doing rendering that I would suggest to anyone who's new to this. In this episode, what I think we're going to cover is it's between Japanese workers and managers. I'm thinking that I may go for Japanese characters. I've said it, so we're going to go with it now. That's what's happened. As you can see, what you have before yourselves on the screen is the base template I use for DAZ Michael 4. Yeah, the Michael 4 DAZ template I've created. Have a look at the beginning of the last episode if you haven't seen it, where I explain what I do in terms of saving the base templates going forward, because it's from this point where I go in kind of creative tangents, as it were. I've taken off the headlamp from the camera, which I did by going into lighting and cameras, selecting the camera and then turning the lighting off from the headlamp, and then I've uploaded the lighting setting that I usually use for my characters. So, which again was covered in the last episode if you haven't seen it already. So don't want to tread over too much old ground. Again, if anyone who's in the chat, because I'm streaming this as well and uploading it onto YouTube later, if anyone in the stream has any general rendering queries or anything like that, feel free to ask and I'll do my absolute best to answer them for you. Okay, so we want a Japanese style of texture. I do have quite a few. I mean, to be fair, most things could work as long as you've got a bit of a slightly darker hue to the Caucasian setup. So one that I've been using quite a lot, because it's a pretty good texture, you can use it for a lot of different nationalities actually, I find, is the Angelo matte. So if I double click Angelo, in a moment you should see him appearing on Michael 4, unless I haven't clicked it, which there's always a good chance. I haven't clicked it. Didn't click it properly. Let's have a try now. There it is. So we can see Angelo in his base form. But what we're going to do is we're going to make him look more Japanese, or Japanese at all, because he doesn't look Japanese at the moment. He looks more either Brazilian, I would say, or kind of Mexican maybe. But to do so, we'll go into the posing tab. The first few episodes again will be more of an introduction on how I do things, to try and kind of break it down a little bit more. And then as we go later into the series as I'm rendering, I'll just be rendering things, and you get to maybe pick up a few tricks and tips along the way. And hopefully the thread that I started on the forums will have other renderers that do fantastic work put their little tips and tricks of how they do things in there. We can, help other people learn how to do it, because it can be quite daunting to begin with, and I do understand that, because it was daunting when I started. But it's something that I enjoyed doing, and after a while it was just, trial by fire, you kind of learn as you go along. So the basic one I'm going to do is first we'll go into international faces, and then there's a little dial here that turns him Asian or more Asian. There's also one of the basic settings in Morphs++, which is a very good set, and I recommend anyone who's using the Michael 4 props to get it. In fact, if you don't have it, I don't know what you're doing. Go for Eric, because I know Eric looks slightly more Asian. We'll just add a couple more different characters in, because we don't want them all having the same kind of look. Okay, so we've got a face there. We'll bulk him up a little bit, so there's a bulk tab, and you can see him get bigger and bigger. We're going to fan out his neck a little bit, make the neck thicker, like so. We're going to make this a big boy, big Japanese lad. If I go for bodybuilder, it kind of takes a more muscly. I mean, you can make him look ridiculous, to be quite honest, but we don't want to go over the top. Okay, so we'll go from there. I mean, he already looks tough as nails, to be quite honest. What I think I'll also do is go to the Morphs++ tab, full head and face, and I'll just shrink his face down ever so slightly. Make it a little bit more of a kind of, a little bit think I'll shrink his ears as well, actually. So we'll go ear size. And again, this is just kind of playing around with things. Don't have anything really set in mind. It's just kind of... I kind of usually just kind of do it almost on autopilot and then kind of check in mentally and go, oh, that looks quite good, or oh no, I need to change this. So, okay, so about there. And we go back to the loading and creating. So we've already got kind of a look that we're going with for this gentleman. So just tweak it around, and we'll use him as a template for the next couple of workers we use as well. So as you can see, as soon as you zoom in, the physical imposingness of him is diminished ever so slightly. So that's why you kind of overdo it, because when you zoom in, it's not as easy to tell as you would hope. So what I might do actually is make him a little bit fatter of face. So on the full head option, I'll go to face full. So you can kind of make him a little bit double chinny. That sounds very racist. That wasn't intended. Double chin is what I was saying. I just made up a word. Apologies for anyone who I may have offended on that go round. Okay. So what I'm also going to do is, in general, kind of bulk him up a little bit and make him a little bit chunky. A little bit of a chunky monkey. There's nothing wrong with that. So that'll be under heavy. So we're going for a... Yeah, let's go for a big boy. That's a look. I might leave him bald actually. It looks pretty badass. Okay. Let's go to the irises. I want it to be a darker brown. Like that. Because the light brown looks a bit too faded, I think, when it shows up. Okay. So I think I might give him some facial hair, and I might actually leave him bald, because I think it's a pretty fun look. So I'll go from there, back to my content library. Go into figures, to get my beard prop. Like I said, I do have a couple. I could use the Michael 5 beard. I have that loaded actually onto a couple of workers, and I can just go in and tweak them if needs be. Brilliant, it fits. I wasn't sure if it would. So it should morph to the actual character, which is good. If you do drag it across and then do attach to character, fix to character. And then from there, we go back into the pose tab, which is where a lot of the stuff is saved. Sometimes it's in materials. I find more often than not I've got mine saved in pose. Then we go to M4 Beard Plus. There it is. It's going to be dark. And then we've got some setups we can use here. So just to play around, see what we've got at our disposal, and I can always change it and tweak it. I mean, what I'm thinking for this guy, and I don't think it's going to be a good look, but I want to do it, is going to be, I use that, go onto the surfacing and rendering tab, and if I get rid of the anything goatee and tash related, actually, let's just get rid of the goatee part first. Then we drop the opacity on the right hand side all the way down. That is très bon, that look. Take that home to your mother, ladies. That is just the best look I've ever seen. Give him a flat cap as well, really add some weird cap. I just want to put a flat cap on him. I'm not going to keep it on there, but I want to see what it looks like, to be quite honest with you. So we're going to do that now. So go to props. I think it's in props anyway. It's not. I realise as I'm doing this that it's not. Oh, it is. No, it's not. It is in figures. So go down here. Work out what the bloody hell it's saved as. I think it's P something. There you go. Headwear. Just want to see what the gentleman looks like with the flat cap. That is remarkable, ladies and gentlemen. Let's sort this out. Jaunty angle. What a gangster. I mean, we're not going to keep that, but that is remarkable. Just look at that. Could you imagine this? You don't see that? That's not made in Japan. That just looks pimp. Like I said, I'm not going to keep it. I just wanted to see because I thought it'd be funny. Build a hat. Just show you some of the templates, actually. I mean, this is ludicrous. What world are we living in where I'm letting these things happen? Stetson. Probably rock a Stetson, actually. Well, that's a bit... Have a look at that. The Japanese cowboy. We're not going to have that, though. Although... Just go plop a beanie on him. Beanie could actually work, to be fair. But we'll leave it, because I liked how he originally looked. So get rid of the beanie. I think he's going to have a relatively expressionless look about him. So if I hit render, just want to see what we come out with. You'll notice as you're doing renders that the hair takes longer to render just based on the properties that it has. Look at, don't you just love that for a character? I do. Do I need to zoom in anymore, or was that kind of a good shot? Kind of gives the effects of his sheer size, I think. So, render editor. See some of the characters I did from the previous episode. Yeah, he's a big lad. Okay, now I need to think of a name for him. I've got a name generator app up. So, let's go back. Masculine. Japanese, I've already got that set out. Generate a name, please, and we'll find one we like. Ren Moto. I don't like that. So I'll just keep doing this until I get one I like. Jirou Kato? No. Takuya Nakahara? I don't hate that, actually. Naomi? I don't think so. Souta Moto? No. Osamu Fujioka. We might have a winner. I think we have a winner. So we'll go from there, back to here. Hopefully it's actually saved it. 001. Osamu Fujioka. Save. That is one gentleman saved. Saved? Like, that was a very bold claim, actually. The Gaijin killer. Looks like he gives giant Sequoia problems. It's been quipped in the chat. So save as. Scene. Put the name in there. Osamu Fujioka. So that's one of the 3 Japanese renders that I was going to create in this episode done. Let's do a Super Junior character. A junior heavyweight. So, just because it's the other end of the spectrum creatively, in terms of physical appearance. I also noticed that male renders seem to take longer to save. But then again, the more that's in the scene also takes longer to save, so, you know, it's all relative. For now, I'll leave him with that glorious facial hair. And we'll shrink him down. So let's take bulk off. Let's reduce the heavy. Bulk a little bit back up. Go back to the face specifically. We want to thin the face down. So go in here, full head and face, go down to the tab that I messed around with earlier, face full, take that off and you can see it shrinks all the way back down. Let's change some of the physical characteristics. So take all off. A little bit too much Eric there for my liking. Okay. So, like I said, I'll leave the beard on for now, and I'll change it as we go along for the next character. We'll leave the same texture, and then I'll do a different texture for the third character. So we'll go back to not that one. We could do that one actually. Could work. Let's see. So we'll try the Zack hair. That's a bit much. A bit mushroomy. Right, so we'll play around with the style, see what I like. Okay. Then maybe actually if I drop that down, okay, try and make it look messy, neat on purpose. Okay, like that. Change the beard. Now this is where we're going to change the beard. Okay, so select the beard. Hard hat. Why the frick is there still a hard hat in the scene? Get rid of that, thank you. Get rid of the Stetson, thank you. Get rid of the flat cap, thank you. Okay, so on the beard, we want to go back into Studio 3. Back into pose when we get there. M4 beard plus. Like so, go to dark. Give him any kind of look we feel like. Pretty much just messing around. I don't have anything set. Might go for that and just tweak it slightly. It's not quite. There we go. Reduce the contact layers. There we go. So let's change the facial expression as well. So we go to posing. Face. Let's move his head around a little bit. So you can see you can change the way they're posing for the camera. Okay. Japanese characters tend not to smile and have too much character in just a still image anyway. Not all of them, but just some. So I might just go for an ever so slight arrogant sneer on the right hand side. Apparently he looks like a pretty boy. It's kind of half between. I think he looks a bit more grizzled facially. His hair would suggest pretty boy, but his face doesn't quite suggest that. So it's an interesting dynamic of his face. Let's get his ears out a little bit. If I do that, he doesn't look like a pretty boy. I like that look actually. Kind of looks like a kind of journeyman MMA fighter. So let's hit render, see what we come out with. As I said, the hair takes a little bit longer to render, just because of the amount of layers and the way the texturing works on it. And also how the light affects it is the big difference, really, the big key. I think that's a pretty cool render, actually. Quite proud of that one. See, I was just messing around. What do we think? I think that's pretty good. Okay, let's go back to the name generator and see what we come up with. Nope. Might just go for like Nakajima. It's just one word. Yeah, that works. Bring that back up. Go here. So render editor. So just as a quick comparison between the last two, that gentleman and this gentleman, using the same template, completely different results. So save image as 001 to signal that I haven't put him yet into the data. Nakajima. Man that goes by one name. So file save as scene, and I'll just save Nakajima with all my other characters in case I need to go back and do edits for alts or just, you know, whatever, because I might go back and visit some of these at some point in time and change them ever so slightly. Okay, so as I said, I'll use a different texture for the last one. Okay, so what I'll do, get rid of the hair, and we'll just change the texture and then I'll tweak it from there. So I've got a couple of decent textures. There's a stereotypical one that gets used quite a lot. But I'll just take another one I've got and then kind of turn it more. I mean, Jeep Sang could work. Maybe we'll do that. I'm not a massive fan of this texture as much as I used to be. So, which is the one we need here. There's a lot of different ones here. Okay, well, I'll just do that and see which one of these works. Ah, first one's a charm, okay. Right. Let's go about shaping him differently. Turn back the Eric. Turn back the Dylan. Like I said, I can go into it a bit more and go into the the little. That looks weird. Go into the minute things and change that as well if needs be. I'm just going to move his head position a bit. I'll knock the ears back in. So go to the ears. Back they go a little bit. Take the sneer off his face as well. So there's the sneer. Don't need that anymore. We'll leave the beard on, might get rid of it entirely at the end, but we'll leave it for now. I'm not a massive fan of this texture anymore. Let's put some hair on him. Got a few good ones in the Neftas section. I use a default camera, yes. Standard. I don't set up a new camera every time. So, I'm going to go to, when I find it, Neftas Hair Salon. Find a hairstyle we want to use from here. Don't know if I want to use this, but I'll have a look. Not for this one, I don't think. Let's go for this. The Mon Chevalier. Yeah. What I need to do is darken that hair colour a little bit. So I'll go to in here, go down to poses, go to Neftist Hair Salon again. I shot past it, I saw that. Okay, it's not that one. Pose mats, excuse me. Now I have to hope the Mon Chevalier one's in here, or if it might be one of the more tricky ones to find. There it is, Mon Chevalier. Darker, darker. That could work actually for a more experienced worker. I want to change a couple of things about the face first of all. First of all, I want to change the beard. So highlight the beard, go back, go in here, not there, go to M4 Beard Plus. There it is. See if there's anything that works with this gentleman, or we might just remove it entirely. The mutton chops could work, but I'd have to put him at a bit more of an angle to... Uh-oh, hair doesn't want to stay when you do that. Okay. I can move it so the hair goes with him, but don't need to do that if I can get the angle to my liking, which is, that's not bad. Do they have the combination? Not the combination I was going to look for. Let's just try out of interest. Oops. Go back to the beard. I think actually that looks better, personally. Okay, so I'm going to mess around with the hair shaping slightly. You can do stuff like hair full, make him look outrageous, or make it look nonsensical. I mean, I don't even know what that is. Actually, just out of interest. That looks like a really good short hair if it wasn't so... Change that. Change that again. Okay, so... what I want to do is make the hair shorter. Make it a bit windier. Just like I said, you can play around with a lot of these, just, you know, to get a shape that you like. This is just me, like I said, just kind of playing around with it and seeing what works. You could argue it doesn't work, but hey. I liked it where it was. Okay. We'll go with that, I think, just to see how it looks. If I don't like it, I can change it. Never trust a man whose goatee is a different shade to his hair, ladies and gentlemen. This is what this is going to teach us. This texture actually might look really good with the lighting. I don't think I've actually given it a fair crack of the whip, to be fair. As we can see, it pauses a little bit longer on some of the hair sections. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our third render. When that does the last teeny little bit, and there it is. Okay. So you see how you can start with one hair prop and change it to look entirely different. That is kind of what I was getting at in the beginning part of the second video. You don't need hundreds and hundreds of different props. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do have that, but you know, that does cost money. But you know, I looked at it as investment for a hobby that I enjoy doing, and I've got a lot of use out of it. But just to start off with, get a few different hair props that you know are quite versatile and you can change. So get a versatile long hair style, a versatile medium, and a versatile short, and you can create like hundreds of different hairstyles just out of those. So, well, hundreds, you know, within reason. Okay, so last thing we're going to do is save this gentleman. We'll go to the name generator. Jirou Kato. I like that name right off the bat. Hit a winner with the first one. So copy that. Go back here. Go back here. We're going to save this gentleman thusly. Like that. Save. And we'll save the scene as such. Now what I think I might do, for the next episode I'll do just 3 managers, you know, someone with a bit more flair and style and physical presence, I guess. So we'll do 3 managers in the next episode, and I might do 3 masked workers in the next episode. I've got some good designs that the stand has created for me. They're relatively simple to render once you've got the template, which I've already saved for myself. So we can have a look at those in an episode coming up. Like I said, if you do want to see me cover anything specifically that I'm able to do, please let me know in the comment section below. On for YouTube, that is. Obviously, you can ask me questions in the chat momentarily after this while I finish tidying up everything. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Got to create 3 Japanese workers here. All of them look different. Only using 2 props, facial morphs. I kind of had 1 beard prop, and I think I only used 2 hairstyles because the first gentleman was bald. So it shows that you can make very different characters, you know, with a limited amount of items, as it were. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have done, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. You've been fantastic with that. Well over 100 subscribers now. Dizzying heights. The air's getting pretty hard to breathe up here. Pretty thin. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Until next time, I've been ScottBGaming, and I'll see you around.